All right, good morning, everyone. We do have a tornado warning. Just wanted to break in and show you that right now. We've got a tornado warning for western Jackson County right now, and we've got a new severe thunderstorm warning. So this morning it is just after, just before 6 a.m., just a couple of minutes before 6 a.m. That tornado warning does include Gorham, Murfreesboro, does not stretch all the way to Carbondale. Let a few folks join in here. But continuing to watch this line of storms move in this morning. Again, a couple strong storms possible. Still, overall, think the severe weather threat is fairly limited. We've had an outflow boundary kind of work its way southward. But we do have a severe thunderstorm warning that was just issued. And that is for areas basically stretching from southern Jefferson County through Franklin. Does stretch into Williamson County, all of pretty much eastern half of Perry County, and a good chunk of Jackson County as well. So Carbondale, DeSoto, Craneville, Carterville, Royalton, West Frankfort, Christopher. This is for the potential for some strong wind gusts as well. So that was just issued. So if you do have your apps open, maybe you're getting the alerts there on your phone, probably just got that one. But let's go ahead and start with the tornado warning. Brief threat as this was moving through southeast Missouri, crossing over the Mississippi River there into western Jackson County. And it looked like this was really moving into the areas that were time on end here and kind of watch that. If I can get this to loop pretty well here. That rotation has kind of started to fall apart just a bit. Good news. Better view of it coming in here shortly. But that rotation has kind of started to fall apart. I really think that threat has started to wane on this cell in particular. But we are keeping an eye. It looks like maybe close to the Gorham area, watching some of those areas. So again, thanks for joining me this morning. Early in the morning, 6 a.m. right on the dot right now here on a Saturday morning. Continuing to watch that as it makes its way through the area. So if you do feel threatened, go ahead and head to shelter. But again, I really do feel that the threat right now is starting to wane as the rotation has kind of fallen apart with this storm cell. But it is something we'll continue to watch. What we're seeing actually is some cells from the south kind of getting pushed up into that, saying the sirens going off in Murfreesboro right now. Asking if you can go upstairs. I'd give it just a little bit a while. We'll have to see maybe if this reforms. Just give it a few more minutes, and I think we'll go ahead and give you the all clear here shortly. But just give it a few more minutes before you kind of head upstairs. If you're in the safe spot, give it just a few more. There you go. So they went ahead and cleared the tornado warning for that storm cell. So if that's the case, I say go ahead and go. Maybe give it a minute or so as this makes its way in from the west. But once the leading edge pushes through, then the threat should start to go down quite a bit as far as the tornado threat goes through Murfreesboro here shortly. All right. I'm going to break down everything here since I am just now joining you guys. Apologize for the delay there. All right, so we do have an outflow boundary that has worked its way southward. So that's kind of what this is riding on. That's what that we saw the tornado warning really issued with. That outflow boundary sitting basically from about Carbondale to Marion. You can barely see it made it right here on Route 13. So there was a little boundary right through here, and that's what caused that tornado warning to be issued. Had a little bit of spin right there on the boundary. Further north, we still have a pretty strong storm. It's moving through, again, DuQuoin southward, right along Highway 51. It's going to be approaching those areas here shortly. But this is more for the potential for some strong straight line winds as they continue to move eastward. That's going to be approaching. I'm going to go ahead and throw on highways here so you guys have a pretty good idea of what you're looking at. And get on some highways here. All right, so plotting in the highways here. So there's Highway 51 from Tamaroa, DuQuoin, southward to Elkville and DeSoto. So this is going to be approaching there here in just a bit. And then further eastward, again, in the warning box, stretching from southern Jefferson County through most of Franklin County, and into northwest Williamson County. Marion is technically included in that warning box, but you've still got a while before this makes it to you. As far as timing goes, we are still going to likely, this is moving 58 miles per hour, so it's moving at a pretty good clip right now. Again, I do anticipate some weakening as this moves eastward because it is working into air that is a little more stable across southern Illinois. We'll have to keep an eye as well on some of these southern storms because the air down here is probably just a little bit more unstable. I just have not seen that outflow boundary, but I'll stay with you here for just a bit as we have some severe thunderstorm warnings. But look at that, it's kind of starting to lose a little bit of its intensity pretty much with each run. Again, I do think that the severe weather threat overall in southern Illinois does remain on the lower side, but we'll go ahead and time everything out here. Put a storm track on this. Work for me or not. Well, try this again here. I get the storm track on it, but again, the line moving eastward here this morning, but you can see the orange box. And that does include all the way up into southern Jefferson County. So yeah, like Waltonville, Bonnie, those areas. Nason is in that, stretching right down Rend Lake. So again, what we're keeping an eye on is the potential for some strong straight line winds, potentially with this as it moves eastward. We do anticipate some weakening here over the next little bit, but still some fairly bright colors showing up. That brighter green that you see stretching from just to the southwest to DuQuoin. That's likely going to cross over just south of DuQuoin to Dowell and Elkville. We're going to see some pretty strong straight line winds here over the next 10 to 15 minutes as that moves eastward. And then to kind of give you an idea further east, over towards, say, Christopher and Cesar and Ziegler and Royalton, those are going to be the areas that are next in line for that. Again, strong straight line winds, that's 154. Further to the north and then also to the south, that's going to be Highway 14, stretching from Highway 51 to Christopher. Again, right through that stretch, Mulkeytown. These areas probably going to see some fairly strong straight line winds as these move eastward. But severe thunderstorm warning does now include pretty much everyone from, again, Woodlawn, from Waltonville, Bonnie, Ina, southern parts of Jefferson County through Franklin, western sections of Williamson County, then pretty much all of Jackson County. DuQuoin, Elkville are dealing with some strong straight line winds now. And again, that's probably the area that I'm most concerned with now. I see Lynn saying that starting to see rain right now into Murfreesboro. That's this stuff right here. That's that real heavy rain moving in. Further northward, DuQuoin, you guys right now are getting some extremely heavy rain. The good news is this line moves through pretty quickly. So as this line is moving through, it does not move through real fast, it does move through very fast. And with the quickness of it, at least we're not going to see a large flash flooding threat. We could see some minor flooding develop, but at least this is going to get in and out of here pretty quickly this morning. All right, I'll try to answer some questions. Go ahead and put this in loop mode. Do that, all right. Try to answer a few of your questions here. Go back up to the top here. Yeah, Andrew, it is quite a bit of rain. Again, it does move through pretty quick, though. Angie's saying, how's Carmi look? You guys have some showers right now moving through. We'll have to keep an eye on this. Again, out to the west, it's still probably, I don't know, an hour and a half or so before it gets to you. But as it starts to move eastward, we likely will see some weakening, but the main line of storms is still to your west in places like Carmi. Right. From Franklin County, can you sleep yet? Well, I think the worst of it is actually just now getting to you, Ashley, in Franklin County. I don't see much of a tornado threat with this storm as it moves in, but I would get ready for a lot of thunder, a lot of lightning, and potentially some strong straight line winds as well. Sarah asking about Marion. So the strongest part of the storm is still to your west, Sarah, but I do anticipate, again, as this moves eastward, we might see some strong straight line winds out of this into Marion, but the biggest threat probably, and at least the most widespread threat, is likely going to be strong straight line winds, potentially some really heavy rainfall for a brief period of time, and some thunder and lightning. At this point, and really what I'm seeing right now here on radar, I am not concerned with a tornado threat. I really think that that is dropping off pretty quickly right now here in southern Illinois. Timing on Harrisburg, it's, see here, leading edge of it, say 50, redo that here. Not a very good line. All right, we'll say 58 miles per hour is kind of what we're moving at right now. Almost due east. We're going to just do 50 miles per hour here to give you an idea, but that's kind of the timing right now is what I'm thinking as far as this line goes through. So it is going to move through again here pretty quickly across southern Illinois. Anticipating as far as the timing goes, Marion coming in, at least this is just the leading edge. The strongest part of the storm on some of this is a little bit further behind that. Just the leading edge of some of the storms will work their way. And we're still maybe about 45, 50 minutes away from it actually getting to Harrisburg. Heavy rain, I bet the rain is really coming down right now in places like DuQuoin and then southward, right along Route 13 between Murfreesboro and Carbondale. Gosh, I bet you it's really coming down. Like asking about the tornado threat again, I really think that right now the tornado threat in southern Illinois is really going down quickly. The reason I joined you this morning, we did have one brief tornado warning for southeastern Perry County and southeast Missouri and far western sections of Jackson County. That has since expired. So again, that has since expired. Right now, no tornado warnings for southern Illinois. We do have one severe thunderstorm warning as this line moves eastward. That does include, again, DuQuoin, Carbondale, stretching down to about Marion, Johnston City, West Frankfort, Benton, all the way up to about Waltonville, and then down 148. So Cesar and Christopher and Ziegler, everybody there in that severe thunderstorm warning. Again, that severe thunderstorm warning, I'll go ahead and plot that on there. A lot of red boxes, but that severe thunderstorm warning runs until about 6:45. So we still have quite a bit of time on that. It's a pretty big severe thunderstorm box that you see on your screen there. And then the timing for where this line is going next is what is plotted here. Further to the south and east does, again, some of the timing for some of the communities here listed. Heron coming in about just a couple minutes. Benton, same thing. West side of Benton right now getting quite a bit of really heavy rainfall. And then Marion coming in about, say, 10-15 minutes. That's the leading edge of the storm. Notice back here from DuQuoin southward, just to the west of Carbondale, that's really the strongest part. But again, what we're seeing is it's running into some stabilized air. So we had an outflow boundary earlier this morning, sag a little bit further to the south, down towards the Route 13 corridor. So as this continues to push eastward, it's running into some of that stabilized air, and it is starting to see some weakening. We do anticipate that to likely occur and continue to occur across southern Illinois. Shante saying, do I need to wake up my kids? No, you don't need to wake up your kids, I don't think. I think this one will be okay. Angie was asking about tornado warning in Jackson County. You were, but that was a little while ago. That has since been allowed to expire. Janelle saying, asking about Campbell Hill. Campbell Hill's got the strongest part of the storm is Bayou right now. Williamson County asking about Johnston City. Again, the timing there. Johnston City, this line of storms will be making its way in the next, say, about 10 minutes or so. From the west, but some strong straight line winds is probably the biggest threat. Probably some gusty winds, maybe up to, I'd say at this point, probably 40 or 50 miles per hour are possible, in addition to heavy rain and quite a bit of thunder and lightning. Yeah, in McLeansboro, you're saying it's starting again. You've had some showers move through, so that's that outflow boundary. The rain, cool air kind of undercutting some of the warm, humid air. it's causing some showers to develop out ahead of this. Again, that's actually a good thing when it comes to severe weather because it helps stabilize our atmosphere quite a bit. Andrea, I would say honestly 30, 40 miles per hour for Marion as far as winds go. Maybe an isolated gust a little higher than that. But honestly, with the weakening that we're seeing right now, I'd probably expect 30 to 40 miles per hour, especially there in Marion. Carol asking about the south side of the Lake of Egypt. Yes, I do think that this will eventually make its way there. I would use the timing for Marion, maybe add a minute or two to that. Yeah, waking up to the sirens, never fun, that's for sure. Lori asked about, nope, I think again, overall, the tornado threat, go back and look into this a little bit deeper, but the tornado threat overall, I think, is at this point getting lower. It was low going into it, and it's getting even lower now for southern Illinois. Asking about Cape Girardeau, line of storms moving through Cape right now, just the leading edge. That storm is not severe. I'll go down there just a little bit further south so you can see it. That storm that's moving through Cape Girardeau right now, Bailey, is not severe. It probably has some gusty winds as it's moving through on the front edge of it. But honestly, I would say here over the next 5 minutes or so, yeah, the rain's still going to be coming down. But the strongest part of that storm is going to be past you by that point. Yeah, I know some folks actually waking up, I guess, early to that tornado warning. And I can imagine waking up to the sirens, waking up with the not only the sirens, but just hearing everything going off. I imagine that it was quite startling as this was moving through the area early this morning. Again, thanks for joining me this morning. I apologize for the delay. I kind of get everything situated here as this was going in and moving into the area. All right. So again, if you are just joining me, I appreciate that. Here's what we've got going on. I'll go ahead and run this back just a bit. This was just a little while ago. This was a little bit before 6 a.m. Had that tornado warning. Notice it came off the board. And if you look at this, you can see we had more of a solid line here back even just 20, 25 minutes ago. And then as this moves eastward, starts to lose a little bit of its punch as it's moving eastward. So again, what we're seeing is some weakening. We will have to watch kind of the southern part of this line, but all of it's right where the interaction is from that outflow boundary too. So right through that outflow boundary. So those outflow boundaries act as mini cold fronts, and that is sitting just right about in here somewhere right along Route 13. And again, what happened was that came from earlier. We had a round of storms move through like Mount Vernon, and then it pushed a bunch of rain-cooled air southward. It set up that outflow boundary right along Route 13, and that just acts as another little turn in the atmosphere from that front being right there. And that's what prompted that tornado warnings. We had just a little bit of spin showing up as this was moving close to the Perryville area and then into western Jackson County. That since has gone away. Again, the biggest threat at this point we really feel like is going to be strong straight line winds as this is moving eastward. Notice the direction on this. Go ahead and back this up just a bit. So the leading edge, if you're in Jefferson County, I really think the severe weather threat is extremely minimal for you, if not entirely over. Right now, the areas that we're really watching for any stronger straight line winds, in addition to also the heaviest rain, is right here through Franklin County and then southward into Williamson County. So areas like Hurst and Bush, back over towards Carbondale, and then also northward to Ziegler, Benton, Ewing. These are the areas right now that, again, I think overall the tornado threat is very, very low. But what we are watching right now is going to be like right in this area. All right, throwing another storm track on here. It's going to be basically from about Benton southward, right at the Plumfield area there between Ziegler and West Frankfort. There it is. And this line is really starting to pick up a lot of steam, so it's moving pretty fast to the. The electric just went out in Cobden. It might be from a lightning strike. Paula, I'm not really concerned with strong winds with that part of the storm further to the south. That could have been from a lightning strike as well, is why you don't have power there. So they did just carve the warning box back. They're really focusing on the. So what they're focusing on now is they're carving that warning box back and getting rid of the spots that are kind of out of the main threat here. So areas like Cesar to Valier and Christopher, you guys are now out of the warning. Thanks, Caitlin. Appreciate the report there from the western side of Marion. That's that little bitty shower that you see here on the screen. We've got a lot more of that on the way here shortly as this line moves in from the west. Again, some strong straight line winds. Keith's saying it's raining like crazy right now. Again, it is short-lived, but the leading edge of this right now in Franklin, eastern Jackson, getting ready to move into Williamson County, does have some torrential rainfall. Quite a bit of thunder and lightning with it as well. There's the warning again still in place, the severe thunderstorm warning. All right. Yeah, I just got the first, where I'm located as well, I just got the first thunder that I can hear from this one as well. And it does look like there is quite a bit of thunder and lightning embedded in this. Let's go ahead and take a look real quick if we can. So this is actually a live view from Carterville and Craneville area, and you can see the dark skies. You can see the heavy rain there in the distance. So this is a live view there from Craneville, looking back towards the west. Crab Orchard Lake, you can kind of see there towards the left-hand side of your screen. The real dark clouds to the right. That's actually the strongest part of that storm is going to be the just there coming down Route 13. You see quite a bit of flashes of lightning. Good question, Amanda. I haven't really hit on the hail. Right now, it does not look like much of a threat for hail at all. Can't rule it out. Maybe some pea-sized hail mixed into this, but as far as and yeah, it looks like there's some pea-sized hail mixed in with some of this. But as far as large hail that's going to cause damage to your car, I do not see that at this time. Again, that's a live view that you're seeing right now on your screen from Craneville and Carterville. We've been tracking some of these lines moving through that line just now, starting to approach those areas. And we'll continue eastward here in just over the next few minutes. This thing is moving. I mean, now 60 miles per hour, 58 miles per hour. So that's Holland for storm. So this, again, is going to be moving through here pretty quickly. over the next hour or so. Hopefully, we can get this in and out of here pretty quickly this morning. Looks like what they have done now. They went ahead and dropped the warning. So let's go ahead and go back over to radar. Slide you back over here. Sliding you back over to radar here, you can see now, again, the severe thunderstorm warning. Let me go ahead and clear that off of here. That severe thunderstorm warning has been dropped by the National Weather Service. So right now in Southern Illinois, we have no warnings in place. We have no watches in place. We are watching this line of storms make its way eastward across the region. The strongest part of that moving through Franklin, western parts of Williamson County. And then that's going to move through, say, Heron very shortly, moving through Benton currently. Very heavy rainfall in Benton northward, say, right along Wren Lake. But again, there's no warning for this. Over towards the Ewing area, it's going to approach Aiken and eventually Thompsonville and West Frankfort here in just a bit as well. But again, no warning with this. Further to the south, this is moving through Hurst and Bush. It's approaching Heron shortly. Greenville, Carterville, you guys will see it next. And then it will head eastward over towards Marion, Pittsburgh, Corinth, Crab Orchard, Real Springs, south part, over, say, towards Lake of Egypt as well. But again, what this is running into is some very stable air. So we had, again, an outflow boundary that moved through earlier this morning that helped stabilize some of the atmosphere just a bit in Southern Illinois. So that is helping quite a bit. There still is some extremely heavy rainfall, maybe some pea-sized hail mixed in and some gusty winds. But the gusty winds are probably going to be more relegated towards 30 to 40 mile per hour winds, possibly some gusts up to 50 miles per hour. I'm not going to leave you quite yet. I am going to stay with you here for just a few minutes or so. Slide back over to the camera here. Again, this is a live view from there from Craneville and Carterville, looking back towards the west. That storm just now rolling in there. So there's that storm moving in right now from in Craneville. You can see the heavy rain just now really starting to come down there. Ooh, is it coming down? I mentioned there is some extremely heavy rain in this thing as it moves eastward. Live camera there. Appreciate Northbridge and those folks for kind of helping support a lot of this with these cameras as well across the area. There's honestly no one in the area that has a better camera network, so appreciate their help on that. And we do have, I can slide over this real quick. Yeah, my radar is running. You're right. It is running just a little bit behind right now, and I'm looking to see if we didn't lose radar here just a bit. All right. Can you look at the rotation? Yeah, there's no rotation with this storm currently over Heron. I see your comment there. There is strong straight line winds with that, but again, the tornado threat overall is really going down right now across southern Illinois, in my opinion. I don't think it's going to be much to be really talking about. I really think the severe weather threat overall is really going down right now across is in Marion. Trying to get a better camera shot here if we can get this camera set up so we can watch this kind of slide on in here. Okay, I'm going to slide you back over as a live view here from Marion, looking back towards the east. See the dark clouds, the just now starting to move in from the west currently in Marion. We can go back to the, and so that's kind of the dark skies moving in. Again, no warnings right currently for any of this. And again, it is losing some punch as it moves eastward. Stay with you here for just a little bit longer though. I think what I'm probably going to do is eventually let radar just kind of sit up and stay up here for just a bit. Because like, yeah, a lot of lightning with this as it moves in, that's for sure. Probably start hearing it right outside here. Remember a few minutes ago we were showing you the view there from Carterville and from Craneville. That's what that view looks like right now. So the main heavy band of rain, it lasts for maybe 5-10 minutes. It pushes through, and then things do get a little lighter. So just a few minutes ago, what you're seeing there on your screen from Craneville and Carterville area, you could hardly see the trees there in the distance as it was coming down so heavily. And now it has started to clear up just a bit. Still some rain coming down for sure, but not nearly as heavy as it was. So this gets in and out of here pretty quickly. This morning, again, no warnings currently on the board, but strong line of storms making its way through the region. Yeah, so West Frankfort, Benton right now seeing some really heavy rainfall Heron seeing the heavy rainfall as well. Marion just now moving on the west side of town, getting ready to approach the interstate there in Marion. A couple little storm cells as well. One of those has just formed to the south and east of town. That one's got a lot of lightning in it. Interacting with the main line of storms. And that does extend southward into Union County. Notice though, you can just tell the difference between the bright oranges and the reds here in Franklin and Williamson County. Once you go south, that line gets a lot skinnier and not nearly as impressive. And honestly, the winds there are not real impressive either. The winds up here to the north are not real strong, but I wouldn't be surprised to see some 30 to 40 mile per hour gusts as this moves eastward. Got a new update that looks like maybe it just came in. Yeah, so if you're seeing the strong straight line winds at all, I mean, right on this leading edge, right where that green comes across Marion right now, there's an update that just came in, and this is not enough by any means. This is more straight line winds. Notice there's just not a lot of bright colors that are showing up that are interacting with this red. So this is going to be straight line winds, not anticipating any real threat for tornadoes at this point. But again, that probably just went through downtown Marion. And that line, the front edge of that line of storms will be making its way eastward into the rest of the county here shortly. Anna asking about the rest of the day. I'll go back over to here. We can kind of run through some of that too. Give me just a second here. Just a second, guys. We'll answer some of those questions. Yeah, rain's starting to really come down here. For me. All right, so this is a live view here from Marion, looking back over I-57. This is at Morgan Avenue or the Hill exit. You guys are familiar with that, so it's the furthest north Marion exit. And you can see the leading edge of this. The really heavy rain just got there. All right, so rest of the day, the line of storms is going to move through here this morning. That leading edge of storms, once it makes its way eastward into the rest of southern Illinois, kind of makes its way east across the Ohio River. There is some rain backed up behind this, stretching all the way back almost to St. Louis right now. So there is quite a bit of rain as far as just some light, steady rainfall behind this. Things should start to really improve. We've got a cold front that's going to eventually make its way in later this afternoon. In that cold front, we could see maybe a shower or two redevelop right along that front. But I really do think we're going to see a lot of dry time from, say, late morning through early to mid-afternoon across southern Illinois. And honestly, the threat, the temperatures right behind this line of storms should bounce back up. I really do think this afternoon we get back in the mid to upper 60s. And then once the cold front moves through tonight, you'll know it. It is a fairly stout cold front. But that front moves through, winds turn to the northwest, and I really do think right behind that front, so by tonight, we'll likely see temperatures dipping back into the 50s in most areas. It's not extreme, but again, so I do anticipate that once we get through this initial wave of heavy rain that's moving through southern Illinois right now, we will see quite a bit of dry time likely make its way back in towards the late morning, early part of the afternoon. Yeah, it is rolling in right now. Anna, no tornado threat at this point with this line of storms. Cooper asking about Pope County. Give it a little while. This line of storms will make it to you as well, but it's still a little ways out. Another little storm track here. This is the leading edge of this line. Doing about 50 miles per hour or so. So this is kind of the leading edge of this line of when it's going to be moving in. McLeansboro is next in line. Then Vienna. Vienna, it's probably still roughly about 10-15 minutes or so before it makes its way into your neck of the woods. It's right now, it's between Anna and Vienna. So it's crossing and tracking down 146 currently. Don asking about West Frankfort. Worst part is Bayou currently at West Frankfort. Benton, worst part of it is Bayou as well. Marion, you're kind of in the heart of it. The worst of it, it's just really heavy rainfall. Thunder, some lightning, maybe some gusty winds on the leading edge, and then that's going to push eastward very quickly. So Corinth, Pittsburgh, if it's not raining yet, it will be here shortly. Crab Orchard, same thing. If it's not there yet, it will be here very shortly. Casey asking about Stone Fort. I see your comment coming through here. Stone Fort, you guys will be dealing with this line of storms probably, we'll say 10-15 minutes or so as well for you. And step back in motion. So once it makes its way to Saline County, those areas, we don't expect much in the way of a severe weather threat. I really think overall the severe weather threat here in our area is really wrapping up as this moves eastward. It is losing some steam very quickly. We'll continue to keep an eye on it though, but it is losing some steam pretty quickly. All right, so what I'm going to do with you guys is I am going to leave this up. I'll leave everything running right now. I'm going to switch you back over to, so that if we have any warnings prompted, again, I can't entirely still rule out. See, I'm going to stay with you here. I think that overall that the threat is still fairly low, but stay with you here for just another minute or so. And then what I would like to do is I would like to leave radar up and let this ride out. Again, I think that overall our severe weather threat is going down currently, but I'll tell you what, the storm here in Williamson County, eastern part of the county, it's going to be moving in there here shortly. Go ahead and zoom in on that. This is the eastern part of Williamson County. Keep an eye on a couple of things here still. Boy, that rain is heavy though, that's for sure. Really coming down currently. I'm watching this area here in the southern part of the county. You can kind of see the brighter colors showing up. Last couple scans, we've seen some of that. Just going to stay with you again. That would be right on that boundary, but and it's not impressive. I don't want you to get too concerned right now, but it is something that keep an eye on here. South and east of Marion. We're just watching that little spot right there for a minute or two. See what it does the next couple of radar scans. Again, live view currently looking out over the hill in Marion. If you're familiar with this area, that's I-57 that you see, and the traffic getting off the interstate. To the right on the screen would be where Menards is in Marion. So this is actually starting to get on the backside of the main storm threat. Starting to see the rain lighten up just a bit there. Back over here to radar. So just a couple hours ago, or just a little while ago, excuse me, not an hour ago, maybe 20, 30 minutes ago, we had the severe thunderstorm warnings. Those have since been cleared. And what we are seeing right now is a little bit of weakening as this moves eastward. So keeping an eye on a couple spots. Strongest part of this line of storms, I would say, extends from the southeastern part of Franklin County, Thompsonville, Aiken, and it now moving into the southern part of Hamilton County as well, heading towards Broughton. Heading, we'll say Galatia is going to be next in line for this, so it is tracking down Highway 34. Then that extends southward. Pittsburgh right now dealing with that. It's just the leading edge is just now moving into Crab Orchard, the town, and then southward to Creel Springs as well. So this is going to be the strongest part. You can really see the brighter oranges and the deep reds. So that's just indicating extremely heavy rainfall, but it also indicates that we've got healthy updrafts. So that's going to be the strongest part of the storm currently, is right in that little section, southeastern Franklin County, eastern sections of Williamson County is where we're really keeping an eye on. Again, no warnings. This is below severe criteria, but probably still going to have some gusty straight line winds as it moves eastward. All quiet on the northern side of Heron, or in Heron on the northern front. Yep. Yeah, once that leading edge moves through, things quiet down pretty quickly. Caleb asking, well, what about the bit that's supposed to reach us about 8 a.m.? So honestly, at this point, this is the main event here. All right, we're not anticipating more severe weather this morning. This is the main event. If you are behind this line of storms, so anywhere honestly from Scott City to Anna, I would say Marion. I know you're still in it, but Marion northward to West Frankfort, Benton, Mount Vernon, DuQuoin, Pinckneyville, Murfreesboro, Carbondale, you guys are all in the clear. There's going to be some rain, some light rain behind this, but as far as storms go, you guys are all in the clear. The leading edge of it in the area that are still in dealing with this is going to be El Dorado and Harrisburg, and eventually over towards Vienna and eventually Carmi as well. Yeah, Carrier Mills, same thing for you, Kathy. So there's a latest update on radar that just came in this morning, just a minute ago. And so once you get through this initial push, things will start to quiet down, is what we're expecting. You gotta understand that once you get through this, once this moves through, you've just got the atmosphere is completely worked over. It's already not extremely unstable right now because of the time of day, just because it is in the morning. Morning is typically the least amount of instability that we have available, or storm fuel for these things. But once we get through this, the atmosphere is going to be pretty washed out. You can actually see, if you look to the south here on the southern part of this, kind of see the cooler air working its way slowly into Alexander and Pulaski counties. So that just helps to wash the atmosphere out and kind of gets rid of the threat for severe weather. Yeah, Ashton, I'm not going to knock them for the tornado warning early this morning in western Jackson County. There was some rotation there in Perry County and southeast Missouri, and they went ahead and they weren't sure how long that was going to last, so they carried it into Jackson County. I don't blame them for that as well. But again, right now, no warnings on the board. So here's what I'm going to do, all right, guys? I am going to... Of course, my back finally comes in there. Once again, going to draw a storm track on this. Some of you guys are just now joining. To give an idea of when this is going to be moving your way. Other than that, I think what I'm going to do is leave radar up for a while and kind of slide on out off of here for just a bit. I am going to leave the stream up and leave it going live and leaving it live for everybody. Of course, you can always track this on the apps and everything else, but that's what I'm expecting to do right now. So again, this is the timeline for everybody. Some of these communities, this Mount Vernon, for example, that you see in here, that's in Indiana. Some of these other communities might be in Kentucky or Indiana. It looks like Highland is in Indiana. Meanwhile, North City, Vienna, coming in here in just a couple of minutes. Harrisburg, again, this line of storms is not severe that's moving your way, but it is approaching Highway 45, so it's going to be here in just a few minutes. 10 minutes or less, I would say, is when it moves into the western side of Harrisburg. El Dorado is fairly similar. Shawneetown, it's going to be still going to be a half an hour or so before the leading edge makes its way into your neck of the woods. Rosiclare in Hardin County is going to also be closer to about 725 before it makes its way there. All right, so I'm going to leave it up. Again, I'm going to turn off my mic. And if there are any more warnings, I will hop back on with you guys. But otherwise, stay safe. Hopefully, you get a little. You didn't get woken up too early this morning. You get a little rest throughout the day today. And but otherwise, stay safe. I'm not leaving all you guys hanging. I promise. If there's something that pops in Harrisburg or El Dorado, or Vienna or southward to Golconda, I'll hop back on with you guys. But right now, I think the severe weather threat overall is falling off very quickly in southern Illinois, so that's why I'm going to leave it here. And yeah, enjoy your Saturday. All right, hey everyone. I just wanted to give you another quick update here. I told you I'd join back in if we had any more warnings come about, and that is the case. We do have a new severe thunderstorm warning that was issued a couple of minutes ago for eastern parts of Johnson County and western Pope counties in southern Illinois. It does include Simpson. This is south of New Burnside and does really stretch all the way back to Highway 45 and then into, again, western parts of Pope County. So Eddyville included in that. This is 147 and 145, and where the two of those come together there. This is going to be warm for the potential for some strong straight line winds. So again, just kind of wanted to give you another quick update here as we continue to track storms making their way through the area. Overall, severe weather threat still fairly low. So again, we did have just one more warning here pop in. So let's go ahead and run down and break down exactly what to expect with this one. Go. So it's this little area right here that has shown some signs. We've got some strong straight line winds mixed in there. That's probably a better look. Again, this is going to be pushing eastward. There is a little bit of rotation in this storm cell just north of the Simpson area. So this is going to be pretty close to where that boundary was. Earlier we were talking about how some of these storms were interacting with a outflow boundary, making its way southward. So again, this one is interacting with that. So areas like Eddyville, again, fairly strong storm moving your way. Throw a storm track on this is moving roughly about 30 miles per hour. So we have seen this slow down just a little bit. But 30 miles per hour would actually put it in this range here. A lot of communities in the path of that. That gives you an idea of where we're talking about. There's the storm track on it. Again, just wanted to give you a quick update. Severe thunderstorm warning for Johnson County, eastern parts of Johnson County at least. And then also the western sections of Pope County in southern Illinois. That severe thunderstorm warning does run until 7:45 this morning. Get that up on social media here. Stoneford is not. Casey Stoneford is not in that severe thunderstorm warning. South of there. This really is going to cross. Probably the strongest part of the storm is actually going to stay just north of 147. So it's going to stay just north of 147. Strongest storm, part of the storm will actually stay just north of where 147 and 145 come together. But this will be heading towards Eddyville. Folks close to Shotgun Eddies, things like that. Well, yeah, close to Eddyville would be kind of where I expect the strongest part of this storm to track here over the next, say, 20 or 30 minutes or so. Really strong storm, though, that's for sure. Still seeing some of these perk back up at times, and that's really what we've been dealing with. So that's the severe thunderstorm warning. So again, just wanted to hop back on here for a few minutes to track that with you guys. Glendale would be close to it. Definitely going to be dealing with this storm here in the Glendale area here over the next little bit. There was a little bit of rotation showing up on storm 2, but that has not as impressive here in the last scan that just came in. So really think that if we're going to see anything out of this, it probably would be strong straight line winds. Yeah, I mean, it would be very close to the Glendale area, maybe just a little bit north of there for the strongest part of this storm cell. I would say strongest part right now is going to be pushing closer to like Jackson Falls, Bellsmith Springs. Kind of the strongest part probably right on top of the Trig Observation Tower at this point. And then again, is going to continue eastward here pretty quickly. So it's still the strongest part is actually still back in Johnson County, getting ready to cross over the Pope County line. And again, that's going to push very close to Millstone Bluff, Jackson Falls, Bellsmith Springs. Some gusty winds possible, possibly some winds up to 60 miles per hour. Moves eastward, it gives you an idea on some of the storm motion there. All right, let's look back a little bit further to the north here through this line of storms as well, in Gallatin County and then into Saline County. So these storms that are in Gallatin and Saline County, not as strong, not seeing any indication that we're dealing with rotation or anything like that. So for the more than anything, maybe some winds 20, 30 miles an hour, maybe a little higher than that a couple spots, but Ridgeway, Shawneetown just north of town is some extremely heavy rainfall. Moving through also the Equality area, also dealing with some very heavy rainfall, quite a bit of thunder and lightning with that, and then that stretches all the way back on Route 13, right now crossing over Highway 45. So Carrier Mills up to Harrisburg, Ledford area. You guys are seeing some really heavy rainfall as this continues to push eastward. So get ready into Gallatin County. Again, not a severe thunderstorm, but there will be a storm that has at least some really heavy rainfall and quite a bit of thunder and lightning with that. But again, the reason I'm actually jumping back on with you right now is due to the severe thunderstorm warning that was prompted into eastern Johnson County and western sections of Pope County. Again, about Simpsonville to Eddyville, again, the Glendale area, Jackson Falls, all of these areas in the western parts of Pope County are going to be dealing with a fairly strong storm here just over the next little bit. Yeah, Gilead coming down. I have a feeling that's probably what we're going to see. Again, they went ahead and issued the warning just because of things on radar that showed that we might have some strong winds with this. More than anything, you're probably going to see some really heavy rainfall. Asking about El Dorado and Harrisburg. Similar story. I really don't think that the winds are going to be nearly as strong in Saline County with this as it moves eastward. But El Dorado and Harrisburg right now dealing with some really heavy rainfall and quite a bit of thunder and lightning. I'm sure you can hear it, and it's probably pretty loud in those areas. But again, this moves through fairly quickly. So look just on the map here, it scoots on through, and once you get through that leading edge, so from Carrier Mills to Harrisburg right now, kind of in the strongest part of this line. But as soon as that gets through, then things start to really get a lot calmer behind it. I can tell you areas like Marion right now, all the way back towards, say, Vienna and Dongola, Carbondale, Murfreesboro, northward to Benton and DuQuoin, Christopher, Mount Vernon. You guys are all in the clear. This, again, the focus is going to be still on this line for about maybe the next half an hour to an hour or so. National Weather Service actually cutting that warning back already. So taking Johnson entirely out of that warning and keeping the warning just in place there for the western section of Pope County. Yeah, Deloach, I think there is a special weather statement potentially out for this line of storms moving through. That is definitely possible. I don't really plot those in typically. We just talk about warnings. So Certainly possible that there's a special weather statement. Yeah, Maddie's saying that the rain won't stop until on hers until about 2. Yeah, there's going to be some breaks. I think that we are going to likely see rain um, lighten up here as we get into the later part of the morning, early afternoon. I do think we will see some dry time. Big rain shield behind this, but not anticipating major issues. I would say by there is some moisture gets pushed up. Depends on where you are. If you're in Harrisburg, it might be closer to 2 before the rain gets out. Marion, Carbondale, Mount Vernon, I think it's going to be a little sooner than that. And then we've got a cold front that moves through. We actually might see a few more showers develop on that cold front late this afternoon. And it is a fairly sharp front with a temperature drop along it as well. So it'll be something to watch again. But this is the main event for today, as far as storms go and all of that. Thanks, Miranda. I appreciate that report. Raining really hard in Harrisburg. Saying the wind wasn't too bad. Good to know. Appreciate that. Again, just wanted to stay with you for a few more minutes here as we watch this make its way through the region. Oh, it's been nice to get a little bit of rain this week. We needed it, but gosh, it came down. That's for sure. It's coming down this morning again in some spots, and sure came down earlier in the week in some areas with some extremely heavy rainfall. So seems like that's often what we go through here in Southern Illinois. We go from drought to flood real quick, and that sure was the case this week. Nicole asking about Marion the rest of the day. Again, from the severe weather perspective, Nicole, not anticipating any issues. The rest of the day should be, we've got some rain around. It's going to be around here through the rest of this morning. But as far as the severe weather goes, it is done in Marion. Again, this is the main event for today. Early this morning, tracking some of these storms making their way through, but not anticipating any more severe weather this afternoon. We are going to see a cold front move through later on today. That's going to arrive late afternoon, early part of the evening hours. Maybe a shower or two that develops on that front. Not expecting any thunderstorms along that front here in Southern Illinois. But it will be a fairly sharp cool down with that front once it moves through. Winds will go out of the northwest, and eventually we'll see temperatures start to fall just a bit as well. Still not a significant drop in temperature. It will be this evening by the time the rain gets out of here and the front goes through, winds out of the northwest. We'll talk temperatures in the 50s later on this evening, but not anything crazy as far as a temperature drop. Sandy, no, we're not expecting any more tornado weather at all today in Dahlgren or any Southern Illinois. Again, just hopping back on just because we had this one severe thunderstorm warning now for Pope County, and that's really about it. As far as Ridgeway goes, George, Ridgeway's got a real strong storm going through right now with some heavy rain, a lot of thunder, lightning. There's more to your south and west that's going to move through, so some hefty rain over the next hour. But then overall, the severe weather threat for Ridgeway is next to zero. this. There's sometimes a part of the line itself, the actual main line, making its way to some of those areas. So again, Eddyville, it's coming into your neck of the woods here very shortly. That's you're still under a severe thunderstorm warning there in Eddyville, Illinois. Elizabethtown, so the E-Town, Rosiclare area. Here, maybe about 15-20 minutes or so before the line gets there. This thing has slowed down just a little bit. Golconda is going to be closer to 8 a.m. when it gets there, so it's maybe about still 20-25 minutes before it reaches you. If you are traveling out of Golconda and you're heading towards Vienna down 146, though, you're going to run into this pretty quickly. The other two communities, Waverly and Corydon, are further east into Kentucky. Carrier Mills, you guys are in the clear as far as severe weather goes. Devin, yep, you guys are in the clear. You guys are dealing with a really heavy rainfall right now, currently in Carrier Mills, but as far as the severe weather threat, you guys are in the clear. If we see any type of severe weather, which has prompted this warning here, it's going to be right on this leading edge. So I would say once you're past right in this area, you're going to be good. So Carrier Mills, Stone Fort, Harrisburg, El Dorado, all in the clear now as far as severe weather goes. Imagine this warning's going to get cleared off. I know they haven't until 7:45. Feeling they might end up clearing this just a little early, but we'll see here. All right, so I'm going to stay with you for just a couple more minutes until this warning's cleared off the board. I'll leave radar up until this line kind of entirely gets through Massac, Pope, and Hardin counties, because I know you guys still tracking this, but again, really think that the severe weather threat for Southern Illinois, for the most part, has really ended. Again, we might still see, I can't entirely rule out an isolated warning or so from Massac, Pope, or Hardin County as this line moves through, but the way that everything's shaping up right now, not a huge concern. You're right about that, Darcy. I do need some coffee. You are right about that. All right. With all of that being said, I am going to leave radar up. I'm going to go ahead and turn my mic off here. If there's any more warnings, I'll hop back on with you guys. But hopefully there's not, and hopefully things can start to quiet down and wrap up here over the next bit. But until this is through Gallatin, Hardin, and Polk and Massac counties, I will relieve radar up and run in loop and running live. So in the meantime, hopefully things kind of clear on out of here. We get a little bit of dry time this afternoon. Hopefully you guys are able to enjoy some of your Saturday. Pamela asking real quick if it's going to rain all day. No, I do think we are going to see some dry time, especially as we further west you are, the sooner that's going to occur. But late morning, early afternoon, we should start to see the rain wrap up and things kind of come to an end there.